AI right now is everywhere. I have the impression like every week there is a new announcement about a new, crazier, better, and more fancy AI tool. However, if you run native ads, you can also use AI tools in your favor. Of course, you can use ChatGPT and co, but in this video, I want to dig a bit deeper and show you actually which tools do work and which doesn't really work that well yet for native. Hi everyone, my name is Marcel Sattler. I'm the founder of nativeadvertising.net, your platform about native ads. We provide free content as you see here on YouTube, but we're also an agency with over a decade of experience running profitable performance campaigns for platforms like Taboola, Outbrain, MGID, Newsbreak, and many, many more. However, the world in the past changed a bit, so there is more and more AI upcoming. And I'm a huge fan of first analyzing if really everything is better with AI or not, because sometimes people are just following something like a shiny object syndrome. They think everything must be now AI and AI always performs better, which is in the majority of cases not really the case yet. However, we also use in our agency a lot of AI tools where we see there is a faster or better process or the same process like from a human, for example. So if we see a tool can do the same in a faster time, then we usually skip it to an AI tool, or we shift it to an AI tool. So if you start a campaign, there are different processes or different steps if you want to have it like this. So the first step is always the general conception. And for this, we do a lot of manual research. We reach out to the traffic source. For example, if we want to run on Taboola or Outbrain, we reach out to them and ask them, hey guys, what you can give us for some similar verticals here. So we have this information. We do a lot of manual research. That means we go to Reddit, we check out Amazon books, for example, about this topic, the review section. We read blogs, we check out YouTube videos, the comments in YouTube. So there's a lot of research and information gathering. And this information we collect in the first step, and then we put it together. And of course, we also put it to ChatGPT to check where we do have the highest potential. Because in the beginning of a campaign, anyway, native is slow enough. In the beginning of every campaign, we need and we want to see fast results. So we are aiming in the very beginning for the low-hanging fruits. And in order to get this sorted out faster, we use ChatGPT because sometimes there's a lot of information. And here we just get a rough structure. So basically we provide information which is valuable for us. And instead of doing all the steps now manually, we just let the conclusion, or we just let the summary done by AI here. So this is not a big step yet. But this is already like 1 hour or 1.5 hours of time saving for us in this case, for the project manager in this case, to speed up the process here and to get campaigns live faster. After we have this, the next step is to start with the copywriting. And here with the copywriting, we need this gathered information. And we do the copywriting process still manually, but in order to speed it up and check all the grammar and everything, we use also AI tools. AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude. So we found out that it's still better to let a professional senior copywriter write the copy than any AI tool. And the reason here is maybe the AI tools are working pretty well right now for Meta and all these things, but we need copy for our editorials. And editorial is a very, very sensitive spot, because a good editorial and a bad editorial can be the right path or the wrong path to your campaign success. So long story short, if you have a bad editorial, it can generate you huge losses in money. If you have a great editorial, it can save your ass basically and make you a ton of money. So the editorial is a very, very important key point here for us. And therefore we invest a lot of time in research, we invest a lot of time in writing those editorials, and we invest a lot of time in creating them. Because always keep in mind, native is cold traffic. So people are totally cold. They are usually not aware about your product or about the problem itself at all. So we need to educate them. And of course, we also want to generate a sale at the end of the day, or a lead, or whatever is the campaign goal. So this is the goal of the editorial. Therefore, we are still using here senior copywriters who are familiar with cold traffic, with direct marketing campaigns, but in order to speed up, to make variations, to make ABC split tests, to make multivariate split tests, we do use AI. Also for things like grammar checks, and so we do use AI here. But again, it's if you're a newbie here and you have zero expectations or zero experience with native, then it's always better to go with ChatGPT than do it by yourself. If you are a professional copywriter, if you have a professional copywriter, always go with this person right now when it comes to an editorial. And here it's also important because people sometimes think, okay, I can just hire someone randomly from Fiverr or Upwork for my copywriting. But this actually will not work because those copywriters, they might have experience with other traffic sources like Meta or Google or YouTube or whatever. But in the minority of cases, they do have experience with native traffic, so they don't know how to write actual copy for this kind of traffic source. So whenever you're looking for a freelancer or for a copywriter, always check if they do have some proven track records about native advertising traffic. This is very important here in order not to lose a lot of money. After we finish the copywriting for the editorials, the next step is already to set up the landing pages. So to now use the copy and create basically a website for this. And we like to create our websites in React Native. So they are super fast. We don't use anything like WordPress or so in the backend because those things are very, very slow. And yes, for this we use Claude AI. So to speed up here the process, we have our templates, we have our copy, or we have our code templates, our base codes, which we need always in order to load fast, in order to be mobile optimized, in order to have a sticky button, whatever, like these basic things. But in order to do the rest, to set up the rest, to set the layout quickly for the specific brand, we do use Claude AI. And Claude AI is great for those kind of editorials if you want to run them in React Native. Of course, you need the right prompts. And yes, of course, we do need our developers in order to give them the last perfection. But I would like to say 85% or so is definitely done by Claude, which is very well. So if you do have a bit of HTML knowledge here, instead of like setting up a slow ClickFunnels or clunky WordPress instance, just create with Claude AI React Native website, provide all the images, all the copy, and you will see you will have a great result. Of course, about hosting and everything and tracking, you need to take care by yourself. But yeah, afterwards, it's pretty awesome. And I've mentioned tracking already, and tracking is a point where we have zero AI inside because it's yet not doable, just because here our developers are still smarter, faster, and way better and more reliable than every AI tool here. And this is the human component. So this is what I mentioned before. This is an extremely critical point because if you do run native ads and if you spend, let's say, $1,000 per day and you have a bad tracking or a wrong tracking, you are unable to take the right decisions. So it's always more expensive to have like somewhere a problem inside or a wrong information or a wrong tracking than spending money in the beginning, set up everything properly, and afterwards take the right decisions. So tracking is something, unfortunately, which you're unable yet to do with any AI help. So we use, of course, a native tracker, and I would always recommend you to go with a native tracker. Use something like Volume, RedTrack, Clicklflare, whatever. But I definitely recommend you to use a tracking tool here. The last step is already the campaign creation itself. So you can set up the campaign and everything. Of course, a media buyer needs to do this on our end. But for things like, for example, the ad itself, you can use AI tools. We still see a bit better results when like our graphic designers do the images and our copywriters take care of the headlines. But for example, our copywriters here also use AI to get some more ideas, more inspiration. But if you're a single marketer here and you want to use, for example, Taboola, then I have good news for you because Taboola has a lot of built-in tools, AI tools, totally for free, which are working awesome. And for this, we will jump on my screen and I will show you exactly how you can use them in the Realize platform. All right, so here I'm in the Taboola Realize platform, so logged in already here. I selected a campaign, and now when it comes to the ads, I do have a bunch of AI tools here. So first of all, or in general, an ad is a combination between the assets, so the media, and the content itself. So this is like the headline and the description. And you can, of course, just upload a picture, use also stock media, which I would not recommend you. And you can also use here, generate with AI. This is like image to motion. So if you have, for example, an image, but what I really like is something like this, like business woman, 45 years old in office, something like this. And now it takes a while, but what I want to tell you here is, I mean, this is not the best prompt. Don't get me wrong. You need to write a better prompt. But what I actually want to show you is, even though with this prompt, which definitely sucks, Taboola is able to create some good results here. And in my opinion, this kind of text to image is working way better here for native ads than all the other things out there, because this text to image is already optimized for native, you know, like the angle and everything, like the headshot, not too far away, etc. So this is already optimized. I mean, you do see it's not the most realistic image, which is totally fine. Don't, or always keep in mind, it's anyway just a small image you see in a grid here, but that looks awesome. I mean, again, the prompt here sucks, but you can do a lot of very good things here with the correct prompt. So you don't even need anymore to prepare all these images, and so you just can prompt it here out and select some things here. And believe me, they do work pretty well. So this is the first AI feature, which is implemented directly in the backend. And of course, it's free of charge. So it's not like with some other platforms that you need a subscription. So nope, it's totally free of charge, which is awesome. And here you can write a headline like, let me think about, women are made. I write now actually a very bad headline in order to rephrase it afterwards, of this shaver to avoid hairy legs. I mean, this obviously is bad. So now you just can click on rephrase. So I just had an idea basically. I mean, the back end is sometimes a bit low here. But yeah, something like this, woman love the shaver for smooth legs, try now. It's not so bad. I mean, it's maybe not the best what I would write by myself, but I also failed here a bit with my initial idea. So this was nothing too professional here. But you can see here, there is also, let me make myself a bit smaller. So what do you offer? For example, a shaver, woman over 45, no hair after 2 treatments, no expensive studios, no razor burns. And let's see what Taboola gives us here. Again, sometimes of course it's a bit buggy and you need to reload the page, etc. But this is pretty normal, you know. This is still pretty new, everything here. And here we already have some headlines. Smooth skin without expensive studios. This is actually a pretty good headline because it's like the result you want without what you want to avoid usually. No hair after 2 treatments, you know, also nice. So you just can click here, select it, and voila, we do have already 3 titles. And here also you see you even have the description pretty fast. And this in combination, I mean, this is obviously not matching right now, but with this in combination, you're able to create a Taboola ad pretty fast. And even here you can add some other things. You see like different variations, add emotion. I would always recommend you to do these things in parallel campaigns. So never combine a static image campaign and a motion image campaign in one never combine a static image ad and the motion image ad in the same campaign. Reason is because you don't have the same reach sometimes, so always separate it in different campaigns here. But yeah, you see very fast, very straightforward with the Taboola AI tools here in the backend, and yeah, just use it. It's awesome. So yeah, as you can see, more and more AI is coming even to the very slow native advertising space, because usually the things are getting launched somewhere and 5 years later you have it also in the native ad space. But here, especially Taboola is moving pretty fast with AI, and it's better for you because you can start even faster and easier with native than ever before, totally by yourself. There are still a lot of issues and troubles on the way. I don't say here no, but it's definitely faster when it comes to the creative process here. So therefore, feel free to use all the AI tools here, which I mentioned in this video. I hope you liked that video. If so, I would extremely appreciate if you give me a thumbs up and of course, subscribe to my channel. By the way, if you have any question about native, write it down in the comments below, because we do check these comments, and sometimes we just take a comment and create a video out of your questions, because I do this video here for you, for my community. So feel free to put your questions in the comment section below, and sooner or later maybe I will answer them. Thank you very much. Have a good one. See you next time.